Welcome to y'all. I know we need to move forward, so I'm going to do a quick introduction of you, Commissioner Martin, just letting everybody know that you were in the banking business for over 30 years. You were an executive with First Horizon, Tennessee Bank. After a short retirement, you were chief of staff or deputy mayor, let me get that correct, for Mayor Haslam at the time and Mayor Brown. You spent 5 years doing that. You've been here a couple of years, and you've been Commissioner of Finance and Administration since May of 2013. So, welcome.
Thank you. That's okay. That's fine. Just leave it. Mike, thank you. I have really looked forward to this opportunity to be with you. I have to admit I was somewhat, the pressure increased when Mike mentioned that they were videotaping. And then he went on to say if you had a cell phone to mute it. Now, those of you who know me well know I'm technologically challenged. I would mute it if I knew how to do it. But so let us hope it doesn't ring. Let me thank the executive leadership team for introducing all of you. I appreciate the work that they do, the executive leadership team, and we'll talk a little bit about the work that you do in just a moment. But before I get to that, I don't want to miss the opportunity to thank Mike Morrow. Mike Morrow is an unsung hero in the state, in my opinion, a person who does a great job every day, makes sure the trains run on time and things are taken care of. And I can tell you as Commissioner of F&A, I cannot even imagine doing this job without Mike Morrow. And he is a pleasure to work with, and I truly appreciate what you do for F&A and what you do for the state. Mike was kind enough to mention the various things I have been involved in over the years. As someone said on Monday night, he's a guy that can't keep a job. But I have enjoyed every one of those experiences. And in each one of those experiences, with the bank, the city, and now the state, I have learned a great deal. And I have learned that we are blessed here at the state to have a group of employees, starting with you, that do a good job day in and day out. Not with all the resources and bells and whistles that we would love to have and to have for you, but you do the job in a very dedicated and committed way. And I am grateful that I had the opportunity, quite frankly, to dispel the stereotype I had of government employees. That education for me started at the city and has continued here at the state. When Governor Haslam, who's a very persistent fellow, asked me to come over to Nashville, he lured me into it, and I use that word carefully, but it is true, in the opportunity to be involved in a special project, to have no responsibility for an operating unit, to have no employee responsibility. Which after 40 some odd years, I was ready to not have those kind of responsibilities. And so I came over with the opportunity to work on the TEAM Act. And that gave me the chance to visit with and to get to learn a lot about the state, to get to visit with all the various departments. And at the time that the TEAM Act had been enacted, and we started down the path of implementing the things of the TEAM Act. Commissioner Emkes had also introduced the concept of customer-focused government. and brought a lot of what he had learned and practiced in the private sector about customer service, and that customers exist both externally and internally. And we used to have at First Tennessee a sign that there were two rules of good customer service. And the first rule was the customer was always right. And rule number two was if the customer was ever wrong, reread rule number one. And that's what we tried to follow. And as I told our employees in Knoxville when I got there in 1987, and in 1987, we had owned that bank since 1983. So we had owned it from 83 to 87. I was the fourth president to be there. So we were turning them over rather rapidly. And it was a tough market, a tough situation for us. But 19 years I stayed at First Tennessee and Knoxville. And we learned together how important customer service was and to how to work with our customers. And as I told them, that if we've done our job, if we have trained you well and gotten you prepared to be out there in the branches and the offices of the bank, and what you decide relative to the customer, you believe based on your experience and knowledge is in the best interest of the customer and in the best interest of the bank, you cannot stray too far from the right answer. And that if you somehow or another do stray from the right answer, we'll learn from that together. And that is, to me, what customer service is all about. And that applies internally or externally. And so as I visited with the various departments, we talked about customer-focused government. And one of the places that they thought, and I'll just be candid with you, that they thought customer-focused government didn't exist was in F&A. And I took exception to that then. I take exception to that greatly today. Some of it's based on misinformation. Some of it's based on just perception. Some of it could be based on the role that we've had to play over the years of making the tough calls and the tough decisions, whether it's standards in IT or whether it's budget-related matters that we've had to do. We've had the responsibility for those things, and sometimes people don't always like what you have to say or share with them. And so, but where there is a perception of that, there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity for us to do our work and be as effective with our work, but be partners with and collaborative with all of the departments that we work with. And so as we thought about this, and I use the word we here in a very deliberate way, as Mike Morrow and the executive leadership team, as we talked about what did this really mean to F&A? How do we have this perception of being not very interested in customer service? And so they took to heart the challenge, and the whole group, and Stephanie Dedman did a yeoman's job with it. We began to look at from top to bottom what we were about and what we do. And it started with our vision and mission. And just to remind all of us, the old vision was to be the best at what we do. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. That's something we all should be striving for. And the mission was good business, great customer service. Not bad either. Touches on the right points. But we thought that there was a stronger message to be conveyed in our vision and mission. And so the group working together changed what our vision and mission. And our vision today is to be a collaborative partner and trusted resource. And those are some very few words, but every single one of those words have a key meaning. To be a collaborative partner and trusted resource. We want to be part of their team. We want to feel the joy of when they're successful. We also want to feel the pain sometimes of when there are issues and problems. We want to be part of their organizations and for them to feel like we're there to help. And then our mission to provide sound stewardship of state assets through good business practices and great customer service. And to me, that captures all of the things that we need to be about. So this applies to everything that each of you and for that matter that I do, and should be the guide for how we go about every day. And I think that what we also learned in this exercise that we have been about and through the survey is that you're highly respected, you're highly regarded, you're considered to be very good in your respective fields. And I want you to take that to heart, and I want you to know that that applies to each and every one of you. That was consistent in the message that we heard in the survey. And so I think it is a great opportunity for all of us, and particularly you, to have a new day at F&A, and for F&A to be what it has always been, a department with a rich history and a group of dedicated and committed employees to doing the right thing for the right reasons every day. And I'm gonna close because I'm probably running short on my time, although I've done pretty good, and brevity is not a long suit of mine. But I want you to know how much the governor and how much I appreciate the work that you do. And how proud we are of each of you, and what an honor and pleasure it is. And I am glad that the governor talked me in to taking on an operating unit once again. And that operating unit is you guys. Thank you very much.